Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Alexandra. I am an MIT educated engineer and functional nutritional therapy practitioner, and I help women in STEM have easier pregnancies and smarter, healthier babies through holistic pregnancy prep. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing why you don't need to be afraid of coming off of the pill as part of your pregnancy preparation journey. And we're going to be looking at how holistic pregnancy prep can not only make that a smooth transition for you, but actually what it will feel like when you can be in a position before getting pregnant and know, hey, I can actually see how my body is ready to have a healthy pregnancy. So I know what it's like to have periods that absolutely ruin your life. When I was at MIT, I had some of the worst periods that I've ever known, and bombed, not necessarily bombed, but just was not happy on how that impacted my professional life. Little did I know that failing to address those would also significantly impact my reproductive life and my motherhood, my pregnancy and motherhood down the line, until I took some of the steps that I'm going to be sharing with this video and help my clients do the same. I now have effortless fertile cycles every single month that don't impact with my ability to run a business and also care for my two beautiful children. And I have helped dozens of my clients do the exact same, even those who have been on the pill for over a decade because of their fear of terrible periods. So I cannot wait for you to hear this conversation I have with one of my clients, Corrine. She studied engineering, and now I can't remember where, but she has an engineering background just like me. She now works in sales for a tech company, but we have been working together for about 8 or 9 months. And she came to me a little over a year out from wanting to be ready to conceive. She has a very significant surgical history, health history, a lot of struggles that she was bringing to the table. And so I'm so excited for you to see what is possible, even for some of us that feel like we've got a really significant uphill battle that we're fighting. So I trust you will enjoy this interview, and stay tuned to the end where I'm sharing some really exciting surprises for you. All right, here's the video. I'd love to hear, what were some of the health challenges and difficulties that led you to be interested in working with me, interested in holistic preconception prep? Yeah, if you want to share a little bit about that, Corrine.
Yeah. So I've always been interested in like a holistic solution as a whole. I've never been like, oh, it's just this, it's just that. It's everything in your entirety. And as you know, in February of 21, not February of 21. Well, that's kind of when everything started. But in November of 21, I ended up having to get stomach surgery.
Yeah.
I really kind of hit rock bottom of having a lot of trauma now from eating hurting for a year, getting surgery, which was way more traumatic than it should have been, and then trying to recover. And in my recovery, I noticed I kept getting really frustrated because my doctor said, if you're going to throw up, get Zofran, and because you can't puke, and if you feel bad, take Gas-X. And I'm like, there's not enough Gas-X in the world to help me not feel bad. I feel horrible.
Oh.
And I hit a point of, I didn't have the pain I had before. I could eat. I wasn't nauseous. So that was better. But anytime I ate, I just hurt so bad. And I wasn't eating right. I was avoiding eating still. I still had a lot of trauma from all the pain before. So I kind of was what I see a lot of women are today, is have a cup of coffee for breakfast, eat at 2 p.m., maybe have dinner later, and just really trying to make it through. And last summer, I said, wow, my family, we want to have kids. And I had that moment of, I am going to sacrifice my body. If I get pregnant today, I will be impacted by it, and not in a good way. I will lose who I am, and I don't really feel great. I can't imagine it's going to feel any better.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started looking at other programs, and I wanted a holistic solution because I had done the Western medicine. I'm glad I got surgery. I mean,
Yes.
you can't wish away a hernia, you
Yeah,
physically
yeah,
have to fix it, but I
yeah,
didn't like their solution of, well, take Gas X and you're fine. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not okay. So in the past, I had done food sensitivity tests, was told like, cut out all dairy, cut out all gluten. You can have like pork and apples. I'm like, this is not sustainable. So I really wanted to find something different that I hadn't
yeah.
tried before that just felt practical and right,
Mm.
not just,
Okay.
oh, we're looking at this based on your stomach. This is what you should do. I'm like, well, what about my liver and my bones and everything else? So I've had a really, really good time in this program. I started 8 months ago, but I think I really started
Yeah,
like 6 months ago because the
yeah,
first 2 months I was pretty busy. So actually, no, I think I like really invested in it 7 months ago.
yeah,
And I think the thing I liked the most was there was no like, you cannot eat this. Like, yes, there is, you should avoid things, but it wasn't
yeah,
gluten-free, be dairy
yeah,
free. And for me, I just started slowly saying, what habit can I do today and add on? And that approach made it much more not, oh, this is a fun diet or fad. It's, this is now my life and what I do
yeah,
every day, and much more mindful in everything I do. So I now feel a lot better. I don't take any Gas X. I don't need to either.
yeah,
And I feel like I have energy, and I eat breakfast and I eat lunch, and I'm
yeah,
actually hungry. I'm not forcing myself to eat.
yeah,
And I just feel, I mean, I feel better than I've ever felt my entire life. I finally feel balanced and normal
yeah.
and nourished the way that I should have been for the last almost 3 decades. But hey, I made it there at least today.
You got you got there eventually. Oh, I love all of that. And I really love how, I mean, this is a big thing, right? When we're I think the difference between if someone's signing up for something like holistic pregnancy prep, it can't look like, a whatever 60-day like beach body super
Yeah.
restrict, like you're signing up for something that you have to sustain at least for the next 2 years, probably three. It's like, because it's, you got to get through a pregnancy, you got to get through postpartum, you got to get through preparing for pregnancy, 6 to 12 months, you got to get through a whole 9 months of pregnancy. Ideally, that first year of postpartum, you're still feeding another human, right? You're still a primary nutrient source for them. So I love how that really rang true from you. I see with my approach, it's like, hey, it can't be, it has to be something that works, but it's also something that you don't feel restricted and is actually sustainable. And I love how you're like, yeah, I remember when you were talking, I know our first call, you were like, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about change. You said something along those lines. I don't know if you remember that. And so maybe let's talk about a follow-up question is, what was maybe the biggest fear that you had to overcome to be able to say yes to this process of holistic pregnancy prep and also to working with me specifically?
Yeah. So I think the biggest fear to overcome is just doing it and being fearful of, I think I was scared that it would work and then be like, oh, this is how I have to eat for the rest of my life. And that's going to be
Ah,
really hard to upkeep. And in the sense that I didn't view it as something that I could easily do at first, I was like, oh, I'm going to have
yeah,
to change everything I eat, change the stores I purchase everything from,
yeah,
research new tools. And the first half year it was hard, not in a
yeah,
bad way, but in a new way. It's
yeah,
like going back to school. It's
yeah.
really learning something new and realizing, my poor husband, he's like, everything's changing. It's new water, new cups, new lotion. I'm like, well, everything kind of sucks. So yeah, it is, everything's changing. But we did it at our pace of,
Yeah,
hey, I can really focus on this part of my diet today, and I can add these supplements today, and maybe I'll save up for a water filter for tomorrow,
yeah,
but I'm at least mindful of what I'm putting in. And I think that's what really helped, was I was really fearful of what if it works and I have to stick with it. But
mm,
now I'm fearful of ever going back to how I ate before, because I've
yeah,
had so much knowledge. Your program provided so much knowledge as to why I want to do this, why I care about this, why this does work, that I was like, well, okay, I'll do it. I don't really
yeah.
I'm not blindly following something where before it felt like I'm blindly following, don't eat gluten, don't eat dairy. Now I'm understanding why I eat what I eat, why if I eat differently, it's going to impact me and make me
Mm.
not feel as good and not have my body in a better spot. So it's different, but now it's easy, it's sustainable. It just became a new habit, a new skill, but it did take, I would say, a half a year in that
Yeah.
transition to go from what I'm used to now my new normal.
Yeah. Okay. Which, right, it's we gotta if we don't like how we're feeling today, the only way we're gonna feel a different way is right that our experience is the sum of our choices that we're making on a day-to-day basis. So the only way to change that experience is to change those choices. Um, but I love how you pointed out like it the way I created that process, which is a big goal of mine because I really want this to be something that anyone can do, like really that people can actually do. And it's just like, oh, I would instead of the fear being, oh, I'm gonna have to. I love how you put that, like, oh, I might find something that works, but it's going to be so restrictive and difficult that like I'm not going to want to live the rest of my life that way, even if it works and I feel better. To actually know the way that this process is done is that it's the changes are slow and gradual. And then once you make them, it actually is a really nice lifestyle that you want to sustain, as opposed to like, oh, this is like, when can I stop this? You know, when have I feel like people for nutrition, they usually have like a weight loss frame of reference. So it's like, oh, when have I lost the 20 pounds? So then I can maybe like loosen the reins a bit and then, I don't know, gain it back. I don't do weight loss. That's not really my work, but I think that's going to be really helpful for some other ladies that might be on the fence, because that fear of change, right? It is real and hard. But I always love to, I'm like, okay, well, if we're doing this process because we want to have a baby, you are asking for a heck of a lot of change in your life. So let's maybe talk about how the specific, like, so we went through the process, um and we can talk a little bit the steps I'm taking everyone through in the baby ready body, but how the actual results and improvements that you experience, perhaps tangible and intangible, how those have also, okay, we've seen the results now, but how that helps you feel more prepared for taking on that new challenge and change of actually going in and getting pregnant and starting that new phase of your life, which I know you're not quite there yet, but you're kind of coming up on that next step in a few months.
Yeah. So I think the big thing, so for me, it was get healthy enough just to get off birth control,
Yeah.
which seems insane, but I had such horrible periods
Wow.
before birth control that I was so scared to get off.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was, wow, I'm feeling better. I don't have a headache every day. I don't know the
Yeah.
last time I've taken Advil, and
Yeah.
I used to just take that like candy. Like I had like an Advil Pez dispenser is I feel like how it was. So it was at first just feeling good enough to come off of something that I've known for my comfort for a decade. But I
Yeah.
had already been feeling better, feeling more hydrated, feeling like, oh my God, my skin feels so much better.
Yeah.
I've grown so much hair. I had so many baby hairs and now they're finally like growing all the way
Yeah.
in. So there was a lot of things that while I still was on the pill, I knew my body was reacting
Yeah.
positively.
Oh, I
I
love
could
that.
tell that I could move better. I was sleeping better. I wasn't exhausted come 3 p.m. daily. I just
Yeah.
felt better. And I felt like I understood why my periods were bad before and what I
Mm.
could do to not make them bad this time.
Mm.
It wasn't, I'm going to get off the pill and I hope I'm okay and we'll see.
Yeah.
I was like, I know exactly what to do to make it better.
Yeah.
And then I got off birth control and best thing of my life. As scared as I was, it's the best thing I've ever done. I
Yay.
feel so much less anxious.
Yeah.
I have super easy periods. I
Yeah.
don't have cramps. I don't have really heavy periods like I used
Yeah.
to. I just feel a lot more balanced and in charge and aware. I know what to do if I am in pain. Hey, I need to like help detox my liver a bit more. I'm
Yeah.
having too much estrogen, or I need to
Yeah.
eat these foods. So I felt
Yeah.
really prepared. And then now, and this is funny because before this whole program, my husband always joked, we're going to have to just like spontaneously take you off birth control and get you pregnant because you're going to be so scared to do it and not
Yeah.
ready. And
Yeah.
now we're still about a half a year out from when we're wanting to start trying, but we both said we're ready. Like we know
Yeah.
what we have. We feel prepared. I feel
Yeah.
fine. I feel physically in a place where I can get pregnant and not
Yeah.
be malnourished, undernourished.
Yeah.
And so it's just this feeling of I don't know, it's like day and night. It's really weird to think about how bad my life was 8 months ago and what I thought was so normal to now living my life and seeing people. I'm like, oh man, if she just ate breakfast, like that would just be a great first step to help make her feel so much better. And just being really mindful of, I didn't do anything that crazy. People
Yeah.
have this insane diet and they're like, wait, but you're eating this, this, and this. I'm like, I mean, it's not that insane. It's pretty normal. I just have really
Yeah.
strict things that I stick to and I don't not eat. I don't skip a meal. I don't
Yeah.
skip water. I just stay disciplined to that. So I think that's been the best thing is, I mean, I travel every other week for work
Yeah.
and I can do that and I can still feel good and prepared for having a family and this works in
Yeah.
both. And that's, I think, the best part of it.
I love everything you just like. My heart's just like exploding right now because I'm so happy. Uh, but I love how you talk about it's something you mentioned, right? You travel every other week for it's not like you had to quit your job and like move out into like the middle of the woods or like or like go start a homestead or something, really extreme to be able to see these results. You're saying, you still travel every other week. Um, and you're still, you work full time. I know I went back and I looked at when you booked a call initially to find out about the program and you talked about, you're like, I want to do this, but I work full time. I'm on my like HOA, I'm renovating my house and I still like, I have hobbies and a social life like that I want to continue. Um, and from my understanding, that was completely possible
Yeah.
within the context of the program, because really once you understand the lowest effort, highest impact changes, it's actually like you create time for yourself by doing these things because you're not, you don't have a headache every day. You're not like ready to take a nap every day at 3 p.m. You just, even though it does take some effort to lay that foundation, right? You mentioned those first, 3 to 6 months, there was some effort, right? It's like anything when you're doing something new, but you're like, hey, now it just like I have something that runs and like, hey, I could get pregnant today. I could keep like not being on the pill for another 6 months and that's not an issue for my life. My periods aren't detracting from my life anymore. So I'm just reiterating what you said, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm so happy about all of that.
I'd say the biggest challenge is not feeling well and having to start something.
Yes.
That was the
Yes.
hardest part is I'm not feeling great and I have to make a change.
Yes.
And at first, all I changed was the water. I just was like really focusing on like super basic things that didn't feel overwhelming.
Yes.
And gave myself a lot of grace I knew I was never going to do a program that was like, throw out everything, start all new food, because that's just so much shock to your body.
Yeah.
But I just said, what can I do today? What new process can I add today? And just slowly get into it. And that's what really helped a lot was I can learn about it and understand it and then say, okay, out of this module, I can do this thing and this thing today. And now I am like replacing all my products as they expire, as they run out. Okay, what more non-tox product can I get? What food can I get? And it was interesting for me, like shopping at a whole new grocery store was a lot at first. And now I find comfort at my new grocery store. I'm like, okay, like this food will heal me. This food will make me feel good. I know where my things are. So you have to have the energy and the effort to change it, but knowing, okay, if I put in an uncomfortable quarter or 3 months just to try things I'm not used to every day and putting focus on food versus movies or streaming or hanging out with friends, I'm better for the rest of my life. So it's, for me, it was such an easy, of course I'll do this for 3 months to feel better for the rest of my life. And it wasn't, oh, you're going to do this for 3 months and it's like running and now you have to run every day and you have to run 2 hours every day. It's yes, I go to the grocery store every week and that used to not be a habit for me at all, but I don't think about it. I just listen to my podcast, do my own thing, go to the grocery store, prep my veggies, prep my fruit for the week and I feel fine. I've made it work for me. But
Yeah.
I think that's what I liked about this is there's a lot of ways to make it work for you.
Yeah.
And adding it on as you want. I mean, I haven't even gone through the full program. I've maybe
Yeah.
gone through a quarter of
Yeah.
all
I
of
know.
your stuff. And I know there's more to learn, but I
Yeah.
also know, okay, I've taken what I have. And I know I haven't even done everything in the 4 like modules I've gone through, but
Wait.
I'll do that as I keep adding on. Like now that I'm like, okay, I'm balanced. I feel okay. I can add another thing back
Yeah.
on. I can do that. And that's just how I've approached it is here's all the information. Take what you want today. You'll feel a little bit better tomorrow to
Yeah.
then take on that next bit of
Yes.
information.
And I actually, and so in the Baby Ready Body, which it's the same content that you had in the Motherhood Becoming program, I am just doing some updates on it to help it be a little bit more, how do I put it? Target. I'm just taking I've gotten some feedback from you ladies. And so I'm making it again, those how you get the information, you get the changes. And I want to, honestly, I want to give you as little as possible as you need to see results, because I can see it's like more information isn't necessarily better. And I don't need to teach you, like, you don't want to become an FNTP like me. Like, I don't need to teach you everything that I know. You just need to know, like, okay, how do I build this weekly schedule that works with me, that I can keep running, so I have the energy to like keep the ball rolling and just, so I love it. I love it. So I think, so I have 2 other more questions. We're going a little bit long, but it's all so good, but we'll bring it back together. I think my last thing is, was there anything that surprised you about the program?
I think my biggest surprise was how good I feel. I
Okay.
think I knew I'd feel better, but I didn't really know how good better felt. So
Yeah.
to really like get off my husband's like, okay, you're getting off birth control. I've heard it's gonna
He's
be
scared.
terrible. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really know what's gonna happen. And he's like, so none of this is as bad as you said it was gonna be. Like, you seem pretty fine. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I don't know. I've never experienced this in my life. Like I thought it was gonna be worse. So I've just been surprised by how much my
Yeah.
body's reacted, how much everything has changed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's everything has changed. And just easy things of my whole life, I've known I need to floss. I never have until this program. I don't know what it is about this program, but it finally got me to like, okay, I can floss every morning. I mean,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't floss twice a day. I don't do everything, but that's
It's
at
okay.
least I can floss every morning. I'll
Yeah.
start there. And that's better. And so I think it's just been the easing into it. I think I think the other thing that surprised me a lot in it too is I think like December. So I'd been in the program for like 4 or 5 months, and I was like, I haven't made that many changes. I've changed a couple things. I do a like couple things different, and my husband's like, you've completely changed everything. Like you eat everything different.
Yeah.
Your habits are different. Everything you do is different. Like, don't take it lightly as to what you've done.
Yeah.
So I was surprised by, in my mind, I'm like, I've only changed a couple things,
Yeah.
but on the outside looking in, it's no, you've changed everything. So to not really feel like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm deprived. I'm changing all this. I'm so exhausted from adding this and sad about removing this. I didn't even notice how much my life has changed until other people came in and said something. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. It just kind of happened, and just at the pace that I needed it to. And that was the best part.
I love that. So from you, like the internal perception of your effort, it was like almost minimal, but the external impact that, someone outside of you saw, it's like, no, this was massive. So
Yeah.
I think that, right, that's so powerful. You're like, hey, this was a process where for me, it honestly felt like I was doing minimal effort, but from an outside observer, they're like, no, like this has been a massive change. And I have, I really, which sometimes I get shy, but I really feel like I do the impossible, right? Like I'm sure that all those doctors that you worked with, what we've done here together, I don't think they would have told you that was possible, right? What they told you was possible is you need gas X for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right? And so I just thank you for sharing your story, because I know there's so many women that can have the impossible happen in their lives. And it's not just going to benefit them, it's going to benefit generation, like, right,
Yeah.
when they're, if they want to have, if they're doing this before they have babies, it's going to impact them. But all those downstream impacts, like, it's going to impact your entire legacy of your family. And so I think this work is so, so powerful and meaningful, which is why I devote my life to it. And I'm so, so just thank you, Corrine, for being willing to share your story and share your experience. And I love how you say, like, the surprise was how good you can feel. And I feel like for any ladies listening to this recording, I think that is almost the big challenge, is that it's hard to believe in what's actually possible. Right. I
Yeah.
say I do because we all view it like, no, that couldn't possibly be
Yeah.
possible. It's almost like saying, like, your body is like a 1991 like Toyota. What's a bad car? I can't think of a bad car, but like a 90s Toyota, right? But like it could be a, mint like Ferrari or Porsche
Yeah.
Cayenne, but like you've never seen or like driven a Porsche, like you just don't even, you know, my metaphor is failing, but
It just feels so unattainable, or
yeah,
so it feel like I always got frustrated with like the vegans being like, oh,
yeah,
I do yoga and I meditate and I feel so great. And I'm like, you are drinking Kool-Aid. Like, this is not true. This is just all
yeah,
hype. And
yeah,
well, no, I'm not vegan, obviously.
yeah,
I feel very like, oh, just eat. Like, now I'm like that kind of person of like, oh, well, if you just looked at your nutrition, you'll feel so much better.
yeah,
Have you considered what water you're drinking? And so all of that has really just changed. And I think the biggest thing I have to say about it is, I mean, I hope I get pregnant. I'd be sad if I don't, but if
yeah,
I don't get pregnant, everything I've learned is still completely worth what I
yeah,
learned this. Like,
yeah,
regardless of even pregnancy, just having this to completely change the path of my life, my husband's life. I
yeah,
didn't push any of this on him, but he's now eating entirely like myself.
yeah,
He's like, oh my God, I can't believe how different I feel. That I think was the biggest thing. Is I'm so glad I made that investment. I'm so
yeah,
glad I just said, rip the Band-Aid, do this, make it
yeah,
a priority right now,
yeah,
because I don't see my life ever not being this for the next 40, 50,
yeah,
60 years. This is just who I am now. And I can travel, I can work, I
yeah,
can go out and eat. We're going to go celebrate being together
yeah.
for 8 years. It's our anniversary today. So,
Oh, oh,
and
wow.
it all will be fine. Where before,
Yeah.
a year ago, we'd go and celebrate our anniversary and I hurt so bad because it was just eating a full meal was painful. And now I won't hurt at all. I'll enjoy a lot of great food. And it's just, it really opened my eyes to, I think the biggest thing I can think of in this is I had to assume I didn't know anything. I had to assume, or what I knew was wrong, and be open to hearing a new point of view and a new perspective that isn't traditionally taught or isn't as mainstream
Yeah.
as what we're hearing. And I had to really just say, Alexandra's the expert. I am fully trusting her and what she believes. And I'm just going to follow that and say, you're the expert in this. I'm going to listen to you. And that's what worked. It's just kind
Yeah.
of giving up that control and that belief of I know what's best. And
Mm,
I know I can do what's best. I know I want to do what's best, but I had to admit I don't know what's best because there's so
mm.
much out there that I just don't know, but I assume to have known. And that I think was probably the biggest change. It's just, all right, I'll learn something new and try something I never thought of.
Ah, I love all of that, especially that last bit, because I am the expert and I do know
Yeah.
what works. And honestly, it is completely opposite everything that everyone assumes is right. Or you're like, not completely opposite, but it's mostly completely opposite in lots of
Yeah.
ways.
Oh, it's
So
like, I mean, the amount of people that have come to me and they're like, wait, your nutritionist doesn't care about fat if you're eating this much whole milk and butter. And I'm like, fat is really good for you, actually. So no, it's not. I was like, I needed to gain weight. I was
yeah,
so unnourished. So I think that's the biggest thing. As I said, I want the crunchiest, most holistic nutritionist that I could have. Like, I want the peak of it so I can slowly take pieces away from this person and become that. But I want to learn from the expert. And that's what I felt like I got in this program.
oh, Thank you. That was Thank you for those kind words, Corrine. I really appreciate that. And I'm so happy that you ripped that Band-Aid off and dove in. I think that's everything I think you got. Is there anything like last thing, maybe something you'd want to say to someone that's really on the fence and like someone that is in your shoes or something close to where your shoes were 8 to 12 months ago and this is sitting right in front of her and she's just like not ready to dive in? Do you have any
Um,
last
I
words?
I think the biggest thing I could say is the financial aspect. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a big investment.
Yeah.
The investment financially, now I don't really think twice about. I say it's the best money I've
Yeah.
ever spent in my life.
Yeah.
That's after spending money to stay alive and have stomach surgery. And it made it so that everything I do in every part of my day is better.
Yeah.
I would rather invest that money and invest that time at that point and enjoy my morning, my day, my night, and everything in between so much more
Yeah.
than just saying, I can't afford this today because
Mhm.
I can make more money now. I can be more attuned to my job and invested into, I mean, I work a commission job, so that's why
Yeah.
I can make more money.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
can work more. I can really
Yeah.
invest more in the ways I need to. I can be more present in my home renovation. I can
Yeah.
read a lot more. So it opened the possibilities of everything in my life got better. My relationships got better. It was also a lot of emotional
Yeah.
undertakings, especially in that bioenergetic scan.
Yeah.
But it was the information I needed to say, you're still doing the right thing. Keep going,
Mm.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
You're on the right track. These are the things you need to work on the most. And that's, I think, what I like the most about it is it wasn't, oh my gosh, change everything. It's
Yeah.
exactly what I love. And it's what's the least I can do for the biggest change. Instead of
Yeah.
do all of this and you might
Yeah.
feel a little bit better.
Ah, I love. Yes, because that's what works. Thank you so, so, so much, Corrine. I know this is going to help other women like you out there. And I just can't wait for the next stage of this process and to just continue our work together. All right,
No, of course.
I'll let you go. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
You're with me, right? Wow. What an amazing testimonial from Corrine. I am so grateful that she was willing to share that experience with the world. As I said in that video, I know if you learn anything at MIT, it's how to do the impossible. And I love doing the impossible for women when it comes to their reproductive health and the next generation of beautiful children. And so if you are looking for next steps, I would love it if you join me in the Baby Ready Body. The link is in the description. And your super special surprise is that I'm giving you a $250 discount off the price of the Baby Ready Body just for watching this video. So yeah, something special for you. And if you're not ready for the Baby Ready Body, don't worry. I come out with new videos for every week. Not quite here, but I love sharing content for you for free. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Alexandra Radway. I'm very active there. I post content daily on my stories. I share a lot of great just things, a lot of great things, tips and tricks, lots of cool studies, lots of really useful information. And yes, so give me a follow over there. And if you follow me, send me a message and say hello. I love connecting with people on Instagram, so don't be afraid to send me a DM. I will respond to you personally. And enjoy. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.